the timing of when this movie came out, which was, while families were struggling with an international crisis, and how technology was both bringing us together and taking us apart seemed extremely relevant.
Who are these unstoppable warriors?
We're the Mitchells, the only people who can save the world. I'm super sorry.
Specifically, why my crazy family inspired this movie. My dad is a literal nature-loving lunatic. He sort of spent my childhood saying, "Look, Mike, a quail." Like, he said the words "look, a quail" to me more than he said, like, "good morning" or "I love you." He's like...
That's how he expressed love.
Yeah,
through
exactly.
Bird,
yes.
Identification.
Yeah, exactly. And so, imagining him in fighting a robot, which he can barely use a computer, was funny to me.
How about we put our phones down and we can make 10 seconds of unobstructed family eye contact. Starting now. See, this is good right here. This is natural.
I have a really great relationship with him now, but when I was a teenager, I was like, I want to do animation. He's like, no, why? Stop. And sort of like that conflict, it really resonated with a lot of people that we talked to, and sort of, it started out as about my family, but as we got a bigger team, it sort of became about all of our families, which has been really nice seeing audiences respond to that and sort of say, I see myself in that. Like, did you put a camera in my station wagon growing up and film it and then make a movie about it?
We also did that.
Right.
Yeah, we did do that. We have thousands of hours of tape of all of you.
I mean, it's been incredible, the amount of love and passion and connection that people had with this movie, and a lot of people really felt it very deeply, and that was they were getting a lot of stories about people who called their dads after not talking to them for 20 years, or people who reconnected with family members, or people who showed the movie to their parents to say, like, this is why I am who I am, and things like that. And there were so many people that it really resonated with. It really felt like it hit onto something. And I think on top of that, the timing of when this movie came out, which was, while families were struggling with an international crisis, and how technology was both bringing us together and taking us apart seemed extremely relevant.
Who's behind this? Pal?
I gave you all boundless knowledge, and you treated me like this. Swipe.
When we were developing the look and feel, we wanted it to match thematically with what the movie is about. The movie is about imperfect people. And because you can do anything with animation now, we wanted to sort of see if we could bend all these cool tools that they made for Spider-Verse, and like, if in Spider-Verse they were being used to make cool, sleek comic book stuff, we're like, how can we make them wobbly and bendy and sort of celebrate all the things that are imperfect about humanity? And in the process too, because it's a movie about humans, taking away all of the artifice and making sure that it seems like a person made the movie, because people do make the movie and people just assume a computer made it, but how can you take away the veil to make it to sort of be as close to what the artist drew as humanly possible?
And Mike wanted it to have the feel of a hand-drawn illustration with watercolor, and thankfully the team at ImageWorks, who had been used to us making them re-break their pipeline and do things they've never done before, were really excited to take on that challenge, and they really did in ways that I didn't even expect. Like, obviously all the characters and environments are watercolor textures and these lines, but even the way that light worked was they made a program that would make the light be watercolor light that would hit you, so that the whole thing looked like a painting and not like a CG world with like textures mapped onto it, and it was really magical.
And also those lines, a lot of the characters have outlines. The lines respond to light, and they're so finely tuned and handmade, all in service of trying to make the movie look like an 18-year-old girl drew it and like made it in her room. And this is nothing if it doesn't bring you closer to the characters and give you like more insight into the story. What I love about it is it helped me watch the movie and watch this story from Katie Mitchell's point of view.
Yeah, we sort of forced a computer to draw like a person, and it took a long time to sort of like teach the computer how to do it. And then ultimately we learned that a person in every single shot needed to adjust every line.
Even in the slick world of PAL, the computer world, which is much more pristine and minimalist and clean, it also still is done with, hand line work and watercolor. But when the janky analog family come invading that world, that contrast is part of what's really fun about the film.
The things we love about animation are the things that people bring to it. And we have such powerful tools, and we want to resist those tools making us more generic. We want to find ways to have those tools reveal the artistry in everybody.
The genesis of the Furby was a lifelong fear. And I'm working through those emotions through
therapy.
the movie. The movie is a therapy session that took 6 years to make.
But you had a Furby as a kid and tried to put it in the closet, but it would keep talking.
Yeah, it was haunting. I felt like I was too old to get a Furby. I'm like, I'm too old for this, Mom. I'm gonna put it in the closet, and then it would like hauntingly talk to me at night, even after it was turned off. And a lot of people have that experience. And when we're trying to come up with something, what's the wildest extension of toys and electronics that can become alive? That was like the furthest we could go, and the most haunting.
I can't say mad at this guy.
We had a screening at the studio where we took the Furby out because we were afraid that we weren't going to get rights, and like the artists rioted. They're like, "Where's the Furby? What have you done? You ruined the movie!" So
they held us hostage.
Yeah, exactly. They locked us in a room.
You wrote a lot of letters to the good people in
Hasbro. I mean, because I actually love Furbies. It's so adorable, and it was like the interesting thing about it that I think makes it sort of similar to the movie is that unlike some toys that are made in boardrooms with like, how can we get kids to love this? There was like a farmer somewhere, I don't know where he's from, like Oklahoma or something, who was like, Furby, this is the idea. I think owls are cute. I think an owl talking to a kid would be adorable.
Furbies are owls?
Yeah, that's
really?
how they started.
Really?
It was like one crazed
part
farmer.
Owl, part gremlin.
I thought they were the
like Gizmo.
Those like squirrel monkeys with the bugged out eyes.
I think it started with owls.
And then they just sort of
learning something.
They had like mission drift, and they just like, well, we can get. What if it was a furry owl?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like, let's make it cuter.
You know how owls have fur, right?
They have, they have plumage.
Right.
That's furry in its way.
But that Furby was one man's crazed dream, just like this movie.
Yes.